Hey everyone. I was hit by a storm. First it was an internal one, and then it was a literal one. The literal one did pass, and it wasn't a tornado or anything like that. Apparently it was pretty fast moving, but it was some much needed rain for our area where we were walking through a lot of heat. A lot of heat. But it was nonetheless a storm. But the internal one stayed a bit longer. It continued working in my system throughout the day, and it's not that I'm completely over it, but Jesus sustained me. And that storm, it was just a lot of anxiety just walking through just different changes and things that I'm dealing with at work. I'm not going to get into the details, but it just really hit me today. And when we are just going along like that, it's hard to really figure out what to do from there. How to get a right frame of mind. And this is what basically happened when I went through it. It was this. First, I prayed. Obviously, I prayed. Second, I went back to the Word of God. And in Isaiah 42, it says of Jesus, because that's a prophecy, a bruised reed he will not break, and a smoldering wick he will not snuff out. And so, I had to remind myself of that. Yes, this is rough. Yes, I don't know what's going on and how this is going to work, and this is not easy, but Jesus sustains. And then I had to do something else. I had to take it one thing at a time, one step at a time, one service at a time, because I had several. And eventually, Jesus helped me to overcome it. But I had to continually lean into Him. It's not that I didn't have any kind of plan or strategy going forward or anything like that. But as I allowed Him to just really heal me and not focus so much on that, that's when the change began to happen. When I looked at that, when I looked at the circumstances, or looked at Him rather than the circumstances, and really focused on those promises, those truths of Jesus, that's where there was a lot of grace, a lot of change. And again, I'm not going to say I'm fully through it, but I'm in a much better headspace and perspective going forward than I was earlier today. And it's because of Jesus. It was because even in that storm, that internal one, Jesus sustained me, and He helped me. And I had to remind myself that this isn't all there is with the circumstance. I had to remind myself that there's still good possible. I had to remind myself that I don't need to focus on all these things and these things that, what if it works out this way? What if it works out that way? What if it doesn't? Instead, I had to remind myself, that Jesus is near. I had to go back to even reminding myself of the promises in Psalm 34:18. God is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. So I share all this just to encourage someone. If this is you, if you were hit by a storm, or you've been hit by a storm, or you're about to be, or maybe it's someone you know, feel free to share this. Feel free to share this video and be encouraged that you don't have to do this alone. You are not alone. I had to remind myself of that again today, because it's easy to focus on those circumstances, those waves going around you, crashing around you, those high winds. It's easy to focus on those things that are not good or right. And let me just encourage you with that. That's not all there is. Take one step at a time. Focus on the promises of God, of Jesus. Focus on His Word. Focus on Him. Let Him heal you. And just go forward, praying as you do. And just know that you're not alone. Know that I'm learning too. So just want to come on here and just encourage them with this today. So again, if this has been a blessing to you, feel free to share or like it. If you know someone who needs these words, this experience, needs to know that they're not the only, as an old friend of mine used to say, fellow struggler, feel free to share it for them. So I just want to put this out here just to encourage someone, that you don't always have to have it all together. That's okay. But Jesus can redeem, can restore. Don't be afraid to lean into him. I'm learning too. So, but feel free to share or like this, share or like anything on the channel, anything. Subscribe to the channel if you want. You're welcome here. And I'll make sure to put the web address to my blog in the description below of things I write, just to add some free resources for someone today. And I may also put one of the things that I write in my blog, or wrote in my blog, down in the description box, just to add some free resources for someone today. So thank you for being here, and let's lean into Jesus, especially when the storms of life hit us. Have a great day.